Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, our recognizes I'm not going to pronounce. Unto the lotus feet of our most worshipful Srila Gurudev, Nitya-lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Sri Guru Maharaj, Gurupara Guru Varga and all simple Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, unfortunately, again, I was able to come to class. So you have to bear with me. Can you come closer? Otherwise, it's too far. So, what are we talking about? Which topic? I'm the servant of Vaishnavas. I should like to answer something. We have entered the first month of Chaturmasya. Do you know that the first month of Chaturmasya? What name? July? It's July, that's like the solar, it's a Gregorian calendar names of the month. We should be able to, like have some idea now, after some time, like the months in our calendar. So the first month of Chaturmasya, which month? Shraddha? Is there a month? Shraddha? It's almost there. The first syllable is correct. Shravan. The month of Shravan. And okay, that's the common name. But especially for the Vaishnavas, we have a name of Krishna for each one. Like the names in our Lila. So one name is Shravan and the other name is which one? Sridhar. Last month was Trivikram. It's the same sequence actually. So how do you know which one is which? Just think Kartik, everybody knows Kartik. Kartik is Damodar. Damodar? Yeah. So then from there you just go. Damodar is last actually, in our thing. So then again starts Vishal. So Vishal is like the first one. After Kartik. It goes on. So anyway, this first month of Chaturmasya, the Sridhar month or Shravan month. If you notice, or I don't know, like if you notice this, but many disappearance days and very prominent personalities disappearing. It begins with, of course, Sanatana Goswami. Like two of our main Goswamis, actually 3 Goswamis. We have 6 Goswamis. 3 Goswamis of our Goswamis chose to disappear on this month. You know, Rupa Goswami also in this month. Sanatana Goswami this one month. Then tomorrow, Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disappearance. Tomorrow is Panchami. So now you can think about this like, well, the very Purnima, that is Sanatana Goswami. On the first day, so that is Pratipada. On the first day, disappearance day of Guru. We celebrated also that one. Remember? Guru. And I was hoping, like, because Prabhuji was telling at that time, after speaking about Sanatana Goswami, said, okay, tomorrow we'll speak about him, Prabodhananda Saraswati. So far, Krishna has not come yet. But we hear something. So, Prabodhananda Saraswati is just like the very first. Then, after that, and then who else? Yesterday we have, that's in our Acharya, but as far as like association Mahaprabhu. Panchami, that is Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Panchami. Then on the Ashtami, see like all these like there are special tithis, like Amavasya, Ashtami. Ashtami is actually half moon. Ashtami. So we know Krishna, Janmashtami, Radhashtami. So many also Ashtami, they're taking us at their time. Panchami is also our Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. He appeared and disappeared, Panchami. And Amavasya, new moon, like many from the side of Radharani, and Mahabhagavina, and the new moon, Kadadharmati, our Shatagurudev, also Shri Maharaj. Okay, so on Ashtami also another disappearance. That is, Lokanath Das Goswami. Then for this year, this Sridhar month is divided because the Purushottam month entered in between. So half of this Sridhar month, like we're now in the first half, but then before the second half, on Amavasya, then enters this Purushottam month. Then after that, the second half of this Sridhar month will continue. So in the second half actually, which is actually the bright half, going towards full moon, then we know on the Dwadasi, that is the disappearance of Rupa Goswami. And we know Rupa Goswami is very prominent because especially those who are like aspiring for the Madhyani Mood, then he's the person, that you're taking Anugarja, right? But on the same day also, another prominent person, who? The one who is in the Sakyaras, or the leader for Sakyaras. Who is that? Verdas Pandit. This is about Sakya. So, both of them disappeared on the same day. Sakya, Rupa Manjari. So, I'm just mentioning this. So, you have some idea, like there's some specialities in the month. So now, Chaturmasya started. Ultimately, we just heard that Chaturmasya, that is the time Bhagavan rests. But that resting does not mean like someone in mode of ignorance and okay, I'm tired, I'll take rest. Actually, it's like, where is the resting place of Bhagavan? That devotee is heart. So it's actually the time where Bhagavan gives opportunity that I will take rest in the heart of my bhaktas. Why? Because during this time, these are time where all these special festivals will happen. Like Baladev, Purnima, Baladev's appearance, then Janmashtami, Krishna's appearance, Radhashtami, Radha's appearance, all this happening. Along with all the festivals that comes also, Julan, Julan festival, and then we know in Kartik so many festivals are there. There's Giriraj, Anupur, Deepavali, many others. So all these different festivals are there, like making this time very special. And in a way, just like Mahaprabhu, when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, then he decided to stay in Jagannath Puri, right? So the only time really the devotees who are like separated from Mahaprabhu to be again with Mahaprabhu is this time of Chaturmasya. They come to Puri. First they come for joining Radhyaka, and then they will stay in these 4 months of Chaturmasya. And in this way, they celebrate with Mahaprabhu all these festivals. And you can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita how Mahaprabhu celebrates Janmashtami, devotees, and there's so many others. And of course, we know that is in the first 6 years. It was like fun time for the devotees of Maharaj. Because the next 12 years, Mahaprabhu stayed in Puri for 18 years. The next 12 years, Mahaprabhu was just absorbed in so much separation. Like, it's too painful for the devotees, actually. But the first 6 years, that's Mahaprabhu, like staying with the course. We can read, during the yatra, they would be playing in the, where is this? Karunya Sarovar or Chandan Sarovar, and there were little kids. So it was like fun time. But okay, anyway, so this time, Chaturmasya, that's the time the devotees, they stay with Mahaprabhu, Radhakshane, Brajalila. So now we're doing also Chaturmasya Vrata. Ultimately to help us becoming absorbed, supposedly, hopefully, becoming absorbed in remembrance for Bhagavan's pastime. Now, so we can see that some of his prominent associates of Mahaprabhu, they enter so much, like this month they entered into Nityalaya, starting with Sanatana Goswami, Prabodhananda, Saraswati, then tomorrow Bhakta Goswami, Lokananda Goswami, they're like all very prominent, then Rupa Goswami, very prominent. And in a way they're giving us some like inspiration, no? Like, this time is the time to introspect. Like, that's why this month, even the Vedas and even for the Smartas, they're told during this time we don't do any these so-called auspicious activities. Meaning all these ritualistic activities like the karma kanda activities, marriage and like going to transferring to a new house, like this, or all this, for like even yagya, referring for karma kanda. Now, as far as we're concerned, what we're doing is like what. So that is for this month and the next of the rest of the Chaturmasya month. That is the time really like these are time reserved for only doing bhakti. And that's why they discourage all the other activities. Karma, Gyan, Yoga and others. They're discouraging, hey, don't do these activities. Only do these activities. So then you can see on these months, all these festivals are there. And whatever the devotees are doing, they're all for bhakti. So they're nothing, not the same category as those what the Smartas are doing. So we can, during the time of Prabodhananda and Saraswati's disappearance, I was actually reading something about him. Prabhupada Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, in his Chaitanya Chandramrita, one book by Prabodhananda Saraswati, is Chaitanya Chandramrita. This actually came out before the Chaitanya Chandramrita, and this is Sanskrit book. It has 108 verses, and it's all like Sanskrit and all glorification of Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Chandramrita, of course, is very comprehensive, but it's Bengali. It's more like easily understandable, But Prabodhananda Saraswati is very, very poetic. So he has written a special work for Mahaprabhu, like Chaitanya Chandramrita. So in the introduction to that, Prabhupada, he actually wrote something. he explained that when Mahaprabhu first traveled, so when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he stayed in Puri. Then he didn't stay long, right? He traveled. Where? First place he traveled. Where? No? Right? South India, no? I forgot. No, in South India. Because this is not the time, okay, he will try to collect all his associates. Because so far he has not met even the Goswamis and like that. So now he's on a pretext, like, okay, I'll go South India. And what was his main reason going South India?
Brazil.
Huh?
Brazil.
His brother, oh yes. He said he wanted to look for his brother. His brother went suddenly. And later on he found actually his brother passed away already. His brother actually, in Mandarpur, he said, some accounts they say he merged in the body of the baby. There's a Dalanat, one baby there. Some also they say that when Lord Nityananda was traveling, because before he came to Navadvip, he met with Mahaprabhu. Lord Nityananda, he was traveling all over India. So Mahaprabhu was only 10 years old when his brother took sannyas. And that time, after some time, they met Lord Nityananda. And said he merged in the body of Lord Nityananda. And then that's how he disappeared. But anyway, Mahaprabhu using it as a pretext. I'll go to South India, maybe I'll find my body. But then, his real reason was now to meet his associates. One, very important, he met with Rai Ramananda. And then this Rai Ramananda Sambad, very important subject, one chapter in Chaitanya happened. And then from that time that he told Rai Ramananda, you should go to Puri and give up your job. So then later on, then he came to Puri. So, but then, one also is, he met with who? Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So that is actually one main reason. Of course, along with that, to save all the other jivas, because it's been described. During this time, Mahaprabhu would only say Hari Bol and like that, then all becomes ecstatic. They all have prayed like this. Everyone will become pure devotee. And then when all these people who became pure devotee, then they're all so powerful. So on the way back, they also say Hari Bol, and whoever see them, they also become pure devotees. So that time, maybe we can read this article. It's very short. What Prabhupada said. He was saying that in 1510, so this was the time, 1510 AD, Krishna Chaitanya went to southern India in order to show his mercy to his devotees. Though his ostensible purpose was to perform a pilgrimage. What's ostensible? This is Prabhupada's English. So, starting from Puri to Odisha, he traveled southward through the Godavari and then continued through various other holy places. Then on the Ekadasi of the waxing fortnight of the month of Ashar. So Ashar, what is this month? That was last month. This Ashar, that is the month for the Rath Yatra time. Rath Yatra festival. So that is the specialty of that month. Oh, there is Rath Yatra. So Ashar means This is the common name, but according to the Vaishnava calendar, Ashar means what? Now is Sridhar. What is before Sridhar? When you put your up, here's Sridharayana, Vaman, no, Saranayana, Brahman, Vedayana, Vishnu, Vamanayana, Vamanayana, Sridharayana, like this. So, Vaman Mas is Vaman month. So, he's saying here that the Ekadasi of the waxing fortnight, waxing meaning going towards full moon, right? Making bright. So there's a bright half. The Ekadasi of that, what is this Ekadasi? That's Sayan Ekadasi. That's just the Ekadasi, last Ekadasi before this month. So he said, on the Ekadasi of the waxing fortnight of the month of Ashar, Mahaprabhu found himself in Sri Rangam. So that was the time when Mahaprabhu reached Sri Rangam. But it did not, we have to understand, whatever happens, that's according to Mahaprabhu's will. It's not like, it's a coincidence, Mahaprabhu coming there on this time. So, no, that is the desire of Mahaprabhu, and we can see what Prabhupada explains here. He said, the monks of Dashanami order, I don't know exactly what order is this, but they are all like renunciants. The monks of the Dashanami order to which Mahaprabhu belonged normally follow the Chaturmasya vows. And so the Lord decided to spend the 4-month period in Sri Lanka. Okay, so just last Ekadasi, then very soon after that, actually for many, this Sayan Ekadasi, that is beginning of the Chaturmasya Vrata. For many devotees, the beginning Ekadasi. And so then they follow for 4 months, and it actually ends on the last Ekadasi of Kartik. So that's all, okay, Vrata is finished. But then they follow 5 more days, the Krishna Pansha. That's why they end on the Purnima. Like this. So, Prabhupada said that this town is the residence of many Vaishnavas of the Sri Sampradaya. Which town? We're referring to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka. This is the place of Gopal Bhatta Goswami and his father and uncle. This is residence of many Vaishnavas of the Sri Sampradaya. Everyone familiar with Sri Sampradaya, no? What is the Sri Sampradaya? These are like the line coming from, where does it start? The Sampradaya? Sri Sampradaya? Starts with Lakshmi. Their prominent acharya in this Kali Yuga is who? Ramanuja. Their Ishtadev is who? Not Gopal. Lakshmi Narayana. There's a branch of this Sri Sampradaya that their Ishtadev is Sitaram. So, he said, this Sri Lanka is residence of many Vaishnavas of the Sri Sampradaya. The Vaishnavas of the school, they're strongly fixed in their practice. Prabhupada telling me. Throughout southern India, Smarta Brahmins find it difficult to live in villages where the Sri Vaishnavas are strong. Did you get that? You know, Smartas, they're... What are Smartas? Who says Smarta Brahmins? You know? What does it mean when you say Smartas? Like Smartas, you know? Smartas. Yeah, they're actually like, they follow karma kandas. They're not devotional, they're not really for Bhakti. Many of them are followers of the Pancha Upasan also, like this. You know, they're not really Vaishnava. They are the ones mostly that they identify so much on their like class, like this. You know, like they have this body identification, like this. So, most of them they will say like, you know, by birth, you know, like classes by birth. Yeah. So, he is saying, where the Sri Vaishnavas are strong, these Smarta Brahmins, they cannot stay there. So that's why we just heard this Sri Rangam, very strong community of Vaishnavas there, Sri Sampradaya. So there's no Smartas there. That's why Mahaprabhu chose, like, oh, I want to be here for this month of Chaturmasya, because he wants to follow Chaturmasya. So, in that period, Sri Rangam was a holy place exclusively inhabited by the Sri Vaishnavas. And up to now also you can see that there is the most population there, Sri Vaishnavas. Have you been there? Few times already, you got us there. It's like, the temple is very big. Very big temple. It's like a city. Like you go inside, and then like a very big compound. So he's saying here that Mahaprabhu considered this a favorable environment for the execution of his 4-month vow. And so he spent the period in visiting the temple of Ranganath and preaching about Krishna. So during that time, the 3 brothers, Tirumalai, Venkata, and Gopal Guru, had recently come from Mysore to live in Sri Lanka. This is Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writing. This is actually mentioned here, Tirumalai, Venkata, and Gopal Guru. Gopal Guru, that is actually referring to Prabodhananda Saraswati. And he said they're not actually native from that place. They're from another place. Here he's saying they come from Mysore and they live in Sri Lanka. And Prabhupada said they were not Tamils, but they are Andhras or from Uttar Pradesh. But then Prabhupada said that the Lord was particularly merciful to this Brahmin family and spent the 4 months of the rainy season in their house. So you can imagine how fortunate they are. Mahaprabhu was staying in their house. Not only one day, not even 1 week, not even 1 month, but 4 months, every day. I think you will not find any other place Mahaprabhu stayed long. Of course, in Pune, he stayed there for 18 years in that Bhakti. But in the house, but during that time, every day, many people, they will invite, please come to our house. They would do like that. Advaita Acharya himself also inviting Mahaprabhu, please come, have Diksha, accept like Diksha from our house, like that. And Mahaprabhu would schedule like visit. At one point, Mahaprabhu said, like, I will not go to anyone unless he's a Lakpati. Lakpati meaning someone who owns like lakhs of rupees, but really, and the devotees are very poor. It's like, oh, how we can invite you? Mahaprabhu explained, Lakpati means someone who chanting minimum 1 lakh harina. So from that time, everyone chanting so much. So, they're very fortunate, these brothers. You remember the name? Tirumalaya, Venkata, and Gopal Guru, which is Prabodhananda Saraswati. So, he's saying, the middle brother, who's that middle brother? That is Venkata, had a son of 5 years, who later became Gopal Bhatta Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis. And if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is all we know. We don't know further. Because even Gopal Bhatta Goswami, when Krishna's Kaviraj asked for blessing, we know that. When he asked for blessings for his Chaitanya Charitamrita, then he said, yes, I give a blessing, but please promise me, don't write anything about me. They don't want any of this like prestige or anything like that. So, and he said not only him actually, his uncle also, Prabodhananda Saraswati. That's why Krishna's Kaviraj also have to honor them. And therefore, There's a chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it describes the tree of Mahaprabhu's family. You know, all these different, like the line. You know? Like how many lines, how many branches are there? Like that. And they're all described. We know Prabodhananda Saraswati, he's very prominent. He has written all these very important books. But he did not even write his name there. So, Bhakta Goswami also. So then he said, the Vaishnavas of the Sri Sampradaya are devoted to the worship of Lakshmi Narayan. We know this. By Mahaprabhu's blessings, this Bhakta family developed a taste for Krishna Rasa. So this, now Prabhupada only making this like a shortcut. But we know, you can read about this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know what happened, right? You know the story. When Mahaprabhu was there, because imagine he's staying there for 4 months. So of course Mahaprabhu would be, and Mahaprabhu is preaching. He goes around and everywhere also, like what we hear from Prabhupada. He's staying here. He would preach about Krishna. He's not just there to visit Sri Ram, his Ranganath, it's like the duty there. But then he would preach about Krishna. So, especially for that family, he said he would joke with them. You know, he asked them. He asked them actually like why. Like the same principle during the Hira Panchami, there's a whole discussion about Mahaprabhu also opened up this discussion. Like the goddess of fortune is very chaste. She's supposed to be very chaste. But why she wanted to leave her husband? You know, and join Rasalila, like for Krishna. And actually they could not answer. Then Mahaprabhu made the point, but you know, although she wanted to join Rasalila, but was she able to join? But no, up to now she's doing this vrata, doing austerities in Delvan. But she's not able to join. And why is that? Mahaprabhu is telling, unless you take shelter of yogis. Meaning, first, you have to give up mood. Like, she has this mood, I'm Brahmani. You know, like Brahmani. She has to give up with that mood. She has to have that mood like, I'm a coward. You know, coward for ethics. And then, also, she will have to be like a paramour lover. She has to be married to someone else and then meet secretly with Krishna. Along with that, do all the household works of this, you know, like yogis, like making down bunnies and like that. So Lakshmi cannot do that, and therefore she never got entrance to the Rasalila, never allowed her. But then Mahaprabhu, adding more, he said, but look at the gopis. When Krishna left the Rasa Lila, then they were so mad, they were looking for Krishna everywhere. Then Krishna disguised even as Narayan. So Narayan appeared to them. But how the gopis stayed? How they prayed to Narayan, so please help us find Krishna. They were not attracted to Narayan. So they're not attracted to anyone, even to Narayan. And rather, only attracted to Krishna. But like Lakshmi can give up Narayan to join Rasalila for Krishna. So anyway, like this Mahaprabhu joking with them, ultimately Mahaprabhu, they're able to appreciate Mahaprabhu's point that Narayan is actually, Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna. and Krishna, this is sweetness, like the highest beauty, and more than like Narayan. In Vrindavan, there's this Madhurya there that not available in Vaikuntha. So here is just showing that, of course, Lakshmi can be attractive because Krishna is the most attractive. But then Mahaprabhu also making this point that he said by tattva, this is we're talking about rasa, but by tattva, really there's no difference between Lakshmi and Radharani. And so even so, if you make all this differentiation, then it can be considered an offense also. So it has to be properly explained. By rasa, then, and this is the thing Mahaprabhu is teaching. All these things that like Rupa Goswami. You know, why Rupa Goswami explaining all about this Bhakti rasa? Because he wants to show like the glory of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, in this highest rasa, only in Vrindavan this highest rasa is available. Like this. In Vaikuntha, what rasa is there? Only Dasya rasa. But this Sakya even up there. Narayan has no friends. In Vaikuntha, he has no friends. He has no mother, father. Like this. Everyone his servant. In Braj, so much more all these different moods of love. So in this way, he converted. It's like he converted this family. But Prabhupada is saying, although we know nothing more about Tirumalaya, who's Tirumalaya? That's the other brother. Because there's Venkata, and we know Prabodhananda. So Prabhupada is saying, although we don't know more about Tirumalaya, we don't hear anything more about him, we can surmise that he was totally devoted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because we know the three brothers, they were both devoted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu left, then all the three brothers, they were crying so much, including Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who was only like 5 years old. But all they were crying so much. So the Lord's conversion with Venkata Bhatta is described in the 9th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. Okay, so if you want to read about this, it's there. Madhya Lila, chapter 9. Prabodhananda was unequal in his attachment to Sri Chaitanya. Though through his pure teachings, Venkata's son, Gopal Bhatta, became a great acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava school. Did you get that? So Prabhupada is saying, through his pure teachings, whose pure teachings? Prabodhananda. Because of him, he's teaching this 5-year-old boy, now Gopal Bhatta became a great acharya of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, and really, like, some people, they would say like, no, he's not the guru of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. But if you look in Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's, the beginning verses there, Gopal Bhatta Goswami himself, he prayed to Prabodhananda Saraswati, my Guru Dev. And he said he's very dear to Mahaprabhu. Like this. So, Gopal Bhatta Goswami himself, like mentioned. Also there's, in one book, where Jiva Goswami also confirmed this. Jiva Goswami himself, he told Prabodhananda is the Guru of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So here is that Prabodhananda himself has a particularly elevated position amongst the followers of Sri Chaitanya. Do you understand that? He said he has a particular elevated position amongst the followers of Sri Chaitanya. Meaning he is honored. He's a very prominent personality. Although in Chaitanya Charitamrita you may not see his name there, or not even mentioned in the family tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he is very prominent among followers of Mahaprabhu, the Gaudiyas. Why? Because then these very important books he has written, everyone loves so much. Kami Karnapur has identified him as Tungavidya. Where is this? In Gorgan Distripika. In his Gorgan Distripika. Also in his Hari Bhakti Vilas, he is identified as Prabodhananda Goswami's guru and as extremely dear to Lord Chaitanya. Also in the Bhakti Ratnakar, the following passages about him are found. So Prabhupada himself pointing this out. Don't forget again, we're reading Prabhupada's introduction. So this is directly from Prabhupada. So he said, in Bhakti Ratnakar also, now he's quoting. This is from Bhakti Ratnakar. You're familiar with this book, no? Bhakti Ratnakar by Narahari Chakravarti. Not Narahari Sarkar, Narahari Chakravarti. Said some people glorified Prabodhananda's virtues, and thus he was given the title Saraswati, by which he was known everywhere. Sri Krishna Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Absolute Truth. He was so dear to Prabodhananda that even in his dreams, he knew nothing else. So that's how he is described. Even in his dreams, he knew nothing else but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's Prabodhananda says. Prabodhananda was greatly renounced. He was affection incarnate. So that's why in the actual verse, they didn't put the actual verse here, but he said he's the Kripa Murti. The very Murti of affection and handsome, very, very handsome. As well as being a great poet and expert, is expert in singing, playing musical instruments, and dance. So sometimes we have idea that when someone is like philosopher, then they cannot dance, or like some idea like that. But no, Madhvacharya, Madhvacharya, he's also very strong. He's like God. In another yuga, he was Bhim, right? He's the wind god. He's also Hanuman during Treta Yuga. So he is very strong. But he's very good singer also. He's very good dancer. So Prabodhananda is being described. He's very handsome. He is the very worthy of affection. Very great poet. And he's expert not only in dancing and singing, but also playing musical instruments. And everyone's joy increased on hearing him speak. So these are some of the unlimited glories of Prabodhananda Saraswati. So I'm just mentioning this because pointing out that Mahaprabhu, this Chaturmasya, he lived with them, with Prabodhananda Saraswati. And so during this first month of Chaturmasya, the very first day, he disappeared. And when Prabhupada also came to Braj the first time, the first time as a Gaudiya like Acharya, and tried to bring his disciples all over Brajmanda. They put them, I think, the year 1919 that time. That was like the first time he go bringing some disciples around Braj. Then he visited here the Samadhi of, the Samadhi of Prabodhananda Saraswati. Where? Yeah, near Kaliyadaha, after Kaliyadi. So he actually visited there. During that time, it was very much not good condition. It was very neglected at the time, about taking care. So when Prabhupada first came there, that was the first place, one of the first places that Prabhupada made sure that we have to renovate this place. Important place. So, yeah, it's also very interesting. Why of all places, we have that is actually his bhajan kutir and his samadhi, Prabodhananda Saraswati. When Prabhupada came there, then he actually made like a little like a flag, some encryption where it says acknowledging that he's actually Unkavidya Sangha. He's a place of Samadhi of Prabodhananda, Saraswati. So one thing is we have to appreciate like why. Actually, when he first came to Maharaj, after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu, said he was living here in Maharaj. But he first lived in Karunya. But then later on there, Karunya. And why is that? So there must be some reasons that we should appreciate. What is the speciality of this Karunya? And also this Kaliya Lila. If you study all the different pastimes of Krishna, there's this Kaliya Lila is the first Lila when Krishna started his cow herding, not calf herding. Before he started taking care of cows, he was taking care of calves. And already during that time, he already killed many demons also. And then his calves were stolen that time when he was herding calves. But then when he started cow herding, then that was the time actually it's mentioned that the gopis now like manifest their this purvara, their like extreme affection during that time. And so this Kaliya Lila, it's interesting because it occupies 2 chapters in the 10th chapter. Only this one Lila, there's 2 chapters. And Jiva Goswami even said that when Sukadev Goswami explained this, he was so much, excited. So he actually, this is one Lila that is out of sync. It was not in the chronological time, like in the proper time. He wrote this after, he spoke this after look at the chapter before this. Bhakta. In the 10th canto, chapter 16 and chapter 17, that is Kaliya Lila chapter. Before that, chapter 15 is the killing of the Nukasur. You know that the pastime of Nukasur? That is Baladev killing the Nukasur. What's that? How do you call this animal? Donkey. The donkey demon, the Nukasur. So, but this Dinokasur actually happened after. This is like a bit later on. But it is said in this chapter of Dinokasur that this happened on the Purnima also. But it said at that time, that was the time when the gopis they were so madly in love with Krishna. Then he called this Kaliya Lila. But this is actually happened before that. And what happened, that was actually the first time when Krishna showed how beautiful he is. It's like, if you want to attract somebody, then you can dance in front of them, or you can do some special, maybe your martial arts like performance. Usually like they have all these like talent shows. And then you see their talent, and then they go, oh my God, it's so nice, and they cannot stop talking to you. Talking about you. So this Karunya Lila was like one very amazing Lila of Krishna. Imagine that. Like, very dangerous, this Karunya, so many goods. But instead of being afraid, Krishna was there and dancing on the head. And imagine now when you hear their classes, sometimes like they're telling like our gopis that time they had this so much jealousy. Like, for one, they decided to embrace Krishna, but look, this snake embracing Krishna, no, Krishna embracing them. I mean, he is able to embrace Krishna in all parts, like because now he's covering now his oil all over the body of Krishna. So anyway, so this Karunya Lila, this is like one of the very attractive lila that enhance this attraction of the gopis. So here is like one thing also is like, how did the Karunya get mercy? That Krishna dancing on his boots, that he was able to have this benefit, with Krishna, part of Krishna Lila, because he's saying Jayamuna like this. So there, some understanding, appreciation of the Lila, then we can somehow conclude that Prabodhananda Saraswati is also doing there, showing to us that especially those in wanting to enter into Madhurya Lila, like this place is very special. You can do your bhajan here. By the mercy of Yamuna, Krishna, you can also get mercy of Krishna. You can enter into like this mood, so like the gopis. So then, if someone asks you, now we're just talking about Prabodhananda Saraswati. If someone asks you, how would you prove that he's not Prakashananda? Because this is one thing. It's not like some people are telling that he is Prakashananda, like Mayavadis and others. But even some Gaudiyas are telling that he is Prakashananda. So, and Prabhupada, he did not agree with this. And we have evidence. So how would you refute? Yeah, it's there. But how? We know Prakashananda Saraswati. There's an earlier... No, he's not Sannyas. Prakashananda is not the Sannyas Mahaprabhu. That's Kishan Bharati. But there's Prabodhananda, the one, he was converted by Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi, when did he go to Varanasi? That time when he met with, now on his way to Braj, he passed by Varanasi, and on his way back from Braja back to Puri, he passed by also in Varanasi. So during his stay in Varanasi, and that's already after his return from Braj. His return to Braj, that was the time he met with Kalatan Goswami. And that's already after he met with Rupa and Anupa in Prayag. So that time, when Mahaprabhu was in Varanasi, there was this leader of the Mayavadis. His name is Krishna Prabodhananda. And later on, he became converted by Mahaprabhu. He became devotees. He gave up. He's becoming his Mayavad philosophy. So So some people, they said that is Prabodhananda Saraswati. Later when he came to Vrindavan, he said, oh, Mahaprabhu gave him the name, from Prabodhananda, Mahaprabhu gave him the name Prabodhananda. And then now he's in Vrindavan, and then he is writing all these books. He also writing about Mahaprabhu, like that Prabhupada, he wrote the introduction of this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, but how would you refute? What's our evidence? There's an earlier chapter in Chaitanya Bhagavat also. When Mahaprabhu was still in Navadvip, that time when he was being with the devotees, sometimes in some kirtan, he manifests his form like Varaha and other some special forms. Then he said one time in his ecstasy, he showed some anger. He said, the Vedas, they would say that I have no hands, I have no legs, like that. Yeah? So like they like to cut my body, like this, they said like the Vedas. So like, and there is one person in Kasi, he likes to cut my body like this. Because he's telling like, oh, Bhagavan has performed like that. He said that's why now he's suffering in leprosy. Now he's in leprosy. But he still cannot understand, that now he's suffering and still is saying like this. Mahaprabhu is showing some anger. So that was during the time, even when Mahaprabhu was in Navadvip. Now fast forward, and now Mahaprabhu sannyasi. Then he went to South India. We know. Then he met. So that's like 1510. So he went to South India, and then there he is. He's Prabodhananda. He is one acharya in the Sri Sampradaya. It's actually these three brothers that like they're acharyas in the Sri Sampradaya. They're like leaders of the Sri Sampradaya. They're great Vaishnavas. So how is it someone, a few years back, he was Mayavadi, Mahaprabhu is so angry with him. And now he's a leader of the Sri Sampradaya. And now with Mahaprabhu. Like Mahaprabhu converted him to become a devotee of Krishna instead of Lakshmanarayana. Then later on, because after South India, that was the time when Mahaprabhu was in South India. No? After South India, he returned to Puri. Then after that, after some time, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. Then, but on his way to Vrindavan, he passed by Bandhav. But he did not proceed to Bandhav. So then he returned to Puri. That was his second tour. That time he met Sanatan for the first time Sanatan. But on the third tour, that's actually when he went to Vrindavan. But on the way he passed by Varanasi, and on his way back he passed by Varanasi. That time he met this Prakashananda again. And that was actually the time he met with Prabodhananda. But so then, look, if Prabodhananda is Prakashananda, he already met, in his first tour in South India, he already met him. And he converted him already, right? So then how possible now, when he's going to Braj, he met him, and he's leader of the Mayavadis again. And he converted him to become Vaishnava. This is all like very illogical, So completely like this is not proper understanding like this. But some people, they are convinced. So anyway, Prabodhananda Saraswati, he has very wonderful books. And this we already mentioned before. Like Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, you can read this Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi. It's so like wonderful. Like directly verifying Radharani and others. Many there were chanting. Vrindavan Mahimamrita. In Vrindavan Mahimamrita, there's so many interesting verses there showing like his mood, like so much his nishtha to Vrindavan. It's so funny. That time of his disappearance, I wanted to see, because I don't have copy of this Vrindavan Mahimamrita. I wanted to see which verses, because I read before, he was telling like, I can sell my mother or my wife, like to go to Vrindavan, something like that. But I want to know exactly which verse like that. So then now they have this AI, you know, in the internet, like this artificial intelligence. You can ask them any question and they find for you all the answers and then they do. One time I asked the AI, can you compose an ashtakam of Prabodhananda Prabhu? And actually it made very nice ashtakam. So if you want a copy, I'll give you it. So it actually composed very nicely. Sanskrit and the English translation also. Because actually, writing only like 3 verses, I said, make it 8. It's like, can you write in Sanskrit? And he's doing actually. But anyway, then now I asked this AI, can you find me the verse where it's Prabodhananda Saraswati where he said, like, I can sell my mother to go to Vrindavan. And he said, then he answered, like, how can you do that to me? Like, you know, like, how you can do that? How can someone go to Bandhav and selling their mother? This is very, like, bad. Don't ask questions like that or anything like that. And then I just say, like, it's like, no. This verse is not something you can take literally. There are some verses that he really wrote like this because he wanted to show that he can give up anything to go to Vrindavan. And then they are like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm also just learning. So, okay, I found the verse like that. And then he's telling the verse like this. You know, like there's a few verses like that. Then okay, I can give up my wife and my family, like go to Vrindavan. But yeah, in this Vrindavan Mahimamrita, like so many nice verses are there showing. One is describing the glories of Vrindavan, like, you know, like the beauty. Another is he's showing like his nishta, that it's like even if someone will, you know, like criticize me or like say anything bad, that I'll never give up Vrindavan. Or even if someone will criticize Vrindavan and tell him, oh, this is a very bad place, something like that. It's like, oh, to hell with them. Like Vrindavan is the best place like that. And he would even say like, oh, some people like very foolish. How they can leave Vrindavan to go pilgrimage to other holy places. It was like, they're very foolish people. Leaving Vrindavan and go pilgrimage to other holy places. So, yeah, this and also Navadvip Satakam, glorifying Navadvip. But as far as I know, this Satakam, this Vrindavan Mahimamrita is Satakam, meaning 100 verses. It's supposed to be 100 verses of like 100 sets of 100 verses. But right now it's not complete. You know, only like they said 22 left. But even with that, so many like nice verses already are there. By this, if you read all this, then you can have some idea like how great this personality. That's why it's honored Tungavidya. Tungavidya, I said, like of the Sakis of Radharani, she's most learned. She can speak the language of all the animals and the birds. Anyway, now time is come. So, enough for today. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabodhananda, Jai Shri Chaturmasya Jai Guru